We're back. You're listening to Executive Leaders Radio. This is your host, Herb Cohen, with my co-host, Brett Bernstein, XML Financial. And we'd like to introduce Tom Dunlap, founding partner of Dunlap Bennett and Ludwig. Tom, what is Dunlap Bennett and Ludwig?
We're a law firm based in the Washington, D.C. metro area with offices in New York and Atlanta and California.
And how large or how small is this firm?
We have about 70 employees with over 40 attorneys.
Uh-huh. And where are you from originally?
I'm all over the place. So New York, Texas, Fairfax, Virginia, Switzerland.
How many different schools did you go to prior to graduating high school?
Roughly 10.
Uh-huh. And why were you traveling so much?
My father was the managing director of Arthur Andersen's tax group.
So you traveled not only within this country, but internationally?
Yes, a lot.
What kind of countries?
England, Switzerland, Africa.
All right, I get it. You did a lot of traveling there. So, how many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have one younger brother.
One younger brother. How much younger?
He's 2.5 years younger.
So what was it like? I mean, it must have been pretty difficult with a younger brother, 2.5 years younger, and you guys are moving every couple years. I mean, especially if it was international, let alone go back then. What was it like 8 to 14 years old, doing all this traveling and having to adapt? And what was that all about?
I think the biggest shift was when I was 13 and my brother and I moved to England and then immediately to Switzerland, and we both skipped a grade. So I started 9th grade at the age of 13, having to learn French to start school in the fall over the summer.
Yeah, tell us more about that. So what happened?
So my father moved to the company's world headquarters in Geneva, and we went to a program for the entire summer to learn the French language because our school was half in French, half in English. And both my brother and I started school in the fall, grade ahead of where we were. So I went from 7th to 9th grade.
Oh, boy.
And it was a challenge, but it was sort of exciting, right?
7th and 9th grade in a different country, in a different language, in a different culture. Wow. So how did that prepare you to get involved with building your law firm?
Well, so if you look at things like that as opportunities and you remain flexible, I think that it kind of sort of sets the tone for the rest of your career.
What are you talking about? Well, let me ask you a question. This firm, this law firm, known as Dunlap Bennett and Ludwig, is it an organically grown firm, or has it grown through acquisition?
So our firm started with just myself and a partner when we both left the Army. And we grew to about 10 lawyers, and then subsequently we've had 2 or 3 law firms merge in, older firms that started in the 80s. We've attracted them kind of through our company culture and lifestyle and our approach to the law.
Well, why would 2 firms that have been well established, considering all the other firms they could have merged into, want to merge into you?
Well, when I went back to school to get my MBA, I approached the law firm as a business as opposed to a law firm, and that was kind of our sales pitch to other firms, is that, hey, we're going to run the business for you. You can practice law. And so that's...
I don't know. I think it has something also to do with the flexibility that's built into you. I mean, the fact that... What do you mean, sure?
Well, so getting a lawyer to join your firm, or 11 lawyers in one firm, is like herding cats. So every lawyer needed a different deal. And so we were incredibly flexible with each and every deal we did, which was surprising to them and really beneficial for us and them. There's always a way to make something work.
Wow, interesting. So if I was your client, one of the things you bring to my party is that you'll help me figure out a way to get things done. Where there's a will, there's a way.
That's right. The ultimate goal is a business goal. It's not the goal of giving you law or providing a legal solution, but a business solution using the law to the extent that we can.
Huh. Interesting. What did mom and dad... So I understand what dad did for a living. What did mom do for a living?
My mother was a manager at the old Ma Bell until she decided to stay at home with us when I was born.
Brad, you have something?
Well, question, you mentioned you were in the Army. Well, how does flexibility and creativity work there? Because there isn't any.
Well, so I resigned my position as a lawyer and enlisted in the Army as a private. I went to Fort Benning Infantry School and then OCS. And ended up in a light cavalry unit. And that entire mission of that unit was to be flexible, think on your own, and be removed from the main army. So it was our motto at the time was Semper Gumby, which was kind of a joke on Semper Fidelis, always flexible.
Wow.
And you mentioned that mom, tell me about mom's personality traits.
My mother is a very social person, very excellent with a bottle of Chardonnay and friends. And I think that's fortunate for me because some of that fell to me as kind of a skill. I think that helps with both attorneys and with clients. I can sit down and have a beer, a glass of bourbon, a glass of vodka, or a glass of wine.
So you're flexible.
Very flexible.
And you also told us earlier that Mom was empathetic, and I'm wondering what that has to do with building a successful law practice.
She's empathetic, and I hope, and I don't know that it passed completely well to me, but I hope that I have some empathy when I talk to people. You have to connect with people on some level, and so that's the goal in every conversation, is to connect with someone about something.
Connect with somebody about something, and you think the Mom's empathy may have helped you, maybe in your blood inculcated you. I
think a bit. I think hopefully it's a partially genetic skill.
What did you get from Dad that you bring into work every day?
My father managed hundreds of people in a huge national company and was very businesslike. So I got from him not only that kind of interest in doing something like that, but also I got from him the desire not to quite act in the same manner he did.
When you, what were conversations around the dinner table like when you were a kid?
They were usually about sports, his day.
How young were you when you got exposed to business? How young were you when you got exposed to business?
I think I was older, honestly, just listening to his business stories.
Like how young or how old were you when you got exposed to his business stories?
I was probably 13, 14, 15. I don't know how well I was listening at that age, I'll be honest with you.
And how do you think that affected you?
I think later in life I may have regretted not listening more at the time.
Yeah, I understand that story. What's the best part about running your own law practice?
The ability to do your own deals. So to grow the firm the way you want to, and to change the way you operate, and to be flexible and forward thinking.
So you're not about going in and doing the same thing every day. Every day is like a new invention for you, isn't it?
Yep. Every day, and if somebody has a new idea, we like to try it. If somebody has a new way to deliver legal services, we like to look at it. So nothing's off the table.
It sounds to me like when you get out of bed in the morning, it's like, it's like a grand experiment for you. What am I going to play with today? Everything's fun and a toy.
That's what makes it exciting. Absolutely.
And are you married or single?
I'm married and have 2 children.
How old are your kids?
9 and 11.
9 and 11. Yeah. So what's the similarity between running a law practice and being a dad?
Managing people and their expectations, and not knowing what the people are going to do next, despite what you do, to try to manage their expectations.
At home, who wears the pants in the family, you or your wife?
My wife's also an attorney. She was a government attorney, and she was the national full contact kickboxing champion of the United States for a while. So sometimes it's a toss-up, to be honest with you.
So are you flexible?
We're equals.
Are you flexible at home?
Sure. Flexible, equal. Good stuff.
And I'm just wondering, this law practice, it sounds to me like it's also a hobby of yours.
The law practice I wouldn't call it a hobby. It's more of a passion. Or I guess it's a hobby because I like it so much.
Well, okay, passion. That's what I meant. Sure. I'm sorry, I used the wrong word. Passion.
It's something I really like doing.
It's something you really like doing.
Yeah, it's just fun. We all have fun.
What's the website address for this organization, Dunlap Bennett and Ludwig?
www.dbllawyers.com.
dbllawyers.com. We've been speaking with Tom Dunlap, founding partner of Dunlap Bennett and Ludwig, here on Executive Leaders Radio. Don't forget to visit our website, executiveleadersradio.com. To learn more about our executive leaders, thank you for joining us.